Welcome to another video from Tudata. My name is Chris van Zwan, and in today's video we're going to discuss the Microsoft 365 subscriptions and breakdown of the Microsoft 365 subscriptions. Because today Microsoft Cloud offers a wide range of productivity, security and collaboration tools throughout various subscriptions, but each subscriptions are giving different use rights. And with over 250 different features, it is quite complicated and hard to define, okay, what can I find in a Microsoft 365 F1 bundle, what can I find in an Office 365 E1 subscription, and what can I find in a Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 subscription. And then which persona, which employee in my organization has a need for which subscription, or better said, which technology. Now, in this video, we will break down the different features, functions per subscriptions, and we will highlight the key differences between those subscriptions. So let's jump into it. So the Microsoft 365 suites, bundles, subscriptions, give it a name, are bundled in bundles. Yes, you hear it correctly. So there is, you have the feature, the exact detailed feature. On top of that, you have a plan like Defender for Endpoint. On top of that, you have another bundle, which is Enterprise Mobility and Security. And on top of that, you have the Microsoft 365 Suite subscription, F1, F3, E3, or E5. And one in the middle, which is not Microsoft 365 subscription, but is in Office 365 E1. And you could add a standalone EMS and Windows license to that. Let's break it down from top to bottom. So we start with the Microsoft 365 subscriptions. So if we break that down, we have the Office 365 component, which is giving you the productivity and the collaboration tools. We have the Enterprise Mobility and Security, which is giving you the security and authentication and compliance tools. And then we have the Windows operating system. So these three bundles of a bundle are part of the first layer of the Microsoft 365 subscriptions. Then the second layer, we will zoom into these three features, functions, bundles, how you want to call it. So the first one is the Office 365, where you find the productivity and collaboration tools. What are the main differences between the F1, F3, E1, E3, and E5 subscriptions? Now we start with the Microsoft 365 apps. So the most important difference between the F and the E3 and E5 plans, better said the F1, F3, E1 and the E3 and E5 plans, is the local installation on your desktop or your laptop, right, for the Office application. So E3 and E5 does have that right, and the F1, F3, E1 don't have that. They only have Office Online rights. And within the Office Online rights, Microsoft is making a distinction between the F and the E1 plan, right? Because for the F plans, you only get the access to use the Office Online on a mobile device. And with the E1, you can still use your desktop or your laptop. Also, the difference is that the F1 and F3 apps are only able to being used on a shared device or a device with a screen size larger than 10.9 inch. So the reason, and Microsoft priced the F1 and F3 bundles very low, but has its limitation, and this is one important one compared to the E plans that Microsoft has to offer. Then the second bit of in the Office 365 part is the storage. And then we can divide that between personal storage and shared storage via SharePoint. So the personal storage is OneDrive, and with the F1 and F3 bundles, you get a limited 2 GB OneDrive storage, and there are not really additional features for the F plans. Then another exception, or what you can't do, is the desktop synchronization with the F plans. This is coming out of the E1. So E1 is giving you the OneDrive for Business P1, so to speak. And then you get a 1 terabyte personal storage and the availability to do the desktop sync with your laptop or desktop device. Then E3 and E5 are adding the business OneDrive Business Plan 2, which comes with an unlimited personal storage and with DLP and additional features. Third part and third layer in the Office 365 stack is the email. We all know email. Most people are using email. So it's good to understand that within the Microsoft 365 F1 subscription, you don't have any email access. So that doesn't come with an email service. It comes from out of F3 as a minimum, and with F3 you get a 2 GB mailbox with some limitations. So you can't use a shared mailbox. You can't use it on a desktop or laptop with an Office application. You should use a mobile device, and you should there you could use the Outlook app, or via the web browser you could open your email. Good point to know is that you also are allowed to use the F3 with a shared device. So if you have a shared desktop, for example, they can still open Office Align via the browser and then access to the email there for the F3 users. Then E1, E3, and E5 is then adding Exchange Online Plan 1 with additional features and with a 50 GB mailbox. So the mailbox size is the first important step and additional service. Secondly is users can access a shared mailbox and you get archiving rights. And then E3 and E5 are also having the Exchange Online Plan 2. And with Plan 2 you get a 100 GB mailbox size, and we literally always say in unlimited. And why do we say unlimited? Because you get online archiving, and once your mailbox is up to 100 GB, it goes automatically to your online archive, which is in-place access in your Outlook. It's not based on an external data drive or something like that. You have directly access to your online archiving for your email. It comes also with in-place hold, legal litigation hold, and in-place e-discovery, so additional features are available in the Exchange Online Plan 2 bundle. Then we have the telephony services, or the chat, video and conferencing services from Microsoft within Microsoft Teams. Now, this recently changed, so for existing customers it's still available in the Microsoft 365 F1, F3, E1, E3 and E5 subscriptions. But for new customers, they need to buy Microsoft Teams separately on a separate subscription, because it's no longer part of the Microsoft 365 bundles. But most of you are existing customers and are still able and available to renew your existing SKUs, including Teams. And literally all subscriptions are getting the Microsoft Teams experience. There are no really differences, only for the E5 stack, which will add the phone system, the PBX, so that you also can call via the Microsoft Teams application. Not really last, but before we go into the other apps, right? The last other feature you can find in the Microsoft 365 bundles are the seeded rights for Power Apps and Power Automate. So are you building apps or flows within the boundary of Office 365? You have that right to do that within the F1, F3, E1, E3 and E5 subscriptions. And if you want to extend that, then you need a full license for Power Automate or Power Apps. But are you building it within the limitations of Office 365? You have those seeded rights in the Microsoft 365 subscriptions. At last, you get a lot of other apps like Office Delve or Forms, Insights, Lists, Sway, Microsoft To Do, Whiteboard. So there are a lot of other standalone applications, which for every subscription is the same right. So F1, F3, E1, E3, E5, you find all those different apps and other applications in your Office 365 portal. So we covered Office 365, the second layer in the Microsoft 365 bundles, except for Office 365 E1, because that's not a Microsoft subscription. We have the Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite bundle subscription. And that comes in two flavors, E3 and E5, and literally all basic. So E3, all basic features are available without any limitation in the F1 and F3 subscriptions as well. So you get the full experience of Entra ID in the P1 application, the Intune is also available, and the information protection and the security part are all the same. So no limitations for the more cost-effective user profiles. E5 comes with additional features, and you could also buy those features for the frontline workers in the F compliance or the F5 security bundles. And yeah, that adds a lot of different security and compliance features, such as Entra P2, information protection P2, Defender for Identity P2, and Defender for Endpoint P2, and so a lot of security add-ons and the whole Purview stack for the auditing and logging aspect. So if you want to dive more, we will make a separate video about all these security products in the future, because it's too much to handle in this one. But I think you get the importance, you get the experience, right? With the enterprise mobility and security, every subscription has the same right with the basic Entra and Intune features. And on top of that, you can buy standalone security features for the F or for the E3. And that brings up to E5 plans. Then we are with the last one out of the Microsoft 365 bundles, and that's the Windows operating system. Before we dive into that, an important note, it's still an upgrade, right? So you still need the Windows OEM license on your desktop or laptop. We're still buying Windows Enterprise via the volume licensing part as an upgrade to that Pro OEM version. And there are some differences between the F and E plans. So first of all, and the most important difference probably with the Microsoft 365 F1 bundle is that there is no operating system in there. You only have Office 365 and the EMS bundle, and then the Office 365 without email. So operating system is coming from the F3, from Microsoft 365 F3, but also with some limitations. Right? So yeah, you have the upgrade with the F3 license, but it comes with limitations, so you don't have KMS or MAC as an example. Or I think a more important feature is the latest and greatest LTSC, or the previous LTSC version is not available in the F type of license. And also the Defender P1 and P2 are not available in F3. So you need to be aware of that. Microsoft also designed that F3 bundle, right, for the mobile experience. You could argue it's quite strange that there is still a Windows Enterprise license in there, but yeah, be aware of those limitations. And this is the use case is when you have shared devices, right, and you want to digital enable every employee. Then you have that need of the Windows Enterprise license, but be careful, it has some limitations. So you can't roll out the same image as you do towards your Office workers. Then E3 and E5. So E3 and E5 are giving those additional features, what we're talking about. Most likely you do have KMS, you do have MAC, you do and are able to downgrade to the latest LTSC and past versions. You also have MDOP there, but Microsoft, and that will retire and go end of life anyway in April 2026. And the E5 will also give you the additional of the Defender Endpoint P2. Thank you for watching to another video from Tudata. I hope that you learned something and that you saw the breakdown of the Microsoft 365 subscription, and are able to navigate which different features and functions are in the different licensing bundles. If you have any questions, if you do want to map your employees, your personas, define personas within your organization, we're more than happy to help in optimizing your Microsoft contract. Give us a call, shout out, and comment on the page or our socials, or just simply send us an email and we will get in touch. For now, see you next week. Bye-bye.